Now, motorcycle security is best done in multiple layers, and so in this video we're going to take these bikes out for a spin and show you every single step that you can take to keep your pride and joy as safe as possible.
Look, why make this video now? Well, to be honest, I'm still seeing clips on social media where bikes are being stolen and the owners, well, they aren't even doing the basics. So just follow some of these tips and you'll certainly improve your chances of keeping your bike. I will say as well, a massive thanks to Lightlock for supporting the channel and sponsoring this video. And if you like the look of any of their products that you see later in this video, then there's a link in the description along with a discount code specifically for our viewers.
So look, number one tip, number one layer of security, having myself lived in London for many years while I was riding bikes, so always thinking about how to keep your bike safe. And pretty much the first thing I'd look for when I was parking up is somewhere a little bit awkward to park. This, for example, for me, is kind of worst case scenario because the bikes are pointing straight onto the road, you've got an open road ahead and there's plenty of access to the bike. So if someone wants to try and break your lock, push it away, well, they've pretty much got a clean run at it. So yeah, I'd be looking for somewhere a little more discreet sometimes. I didn't mind busy motorcycle parking bays because you had to squeeze the bike in, which can make it a little bit difficult to access each side. And also, if you can find a spot where you can get it off the street, if you're allowed to park somewhere a little bit more awkward, then it might just be that thing that puts somebody off or delays them a little bit as well. Now, number two, somewhat related, is the fact that if you do leave a bike like this brand new Trident 800 sitting here on the street, well, look, it's going to attract some attention, and so I think one of the easiest things you can do to make it a little more discreet, one of the cheapest things as well, is just simply to use a motorcycle cover. Of course, not the official Ducati one in bright red that tells somebody there's a nice bike underneath. You want a cheap one that's a bit shredded, maybe that's even got a bit of dog pee on it. That doesn't matter. Anything that makes it look terrible, like there might be a piece of old junk underneath, I think is probably ideal. You can stick it in a top box, of course, they do pack down quite small. Or if you're commuting to the same place and you've got somewhere to stash it, that means you don't even have to take it with you. But yeah, I think if someone's eyeing up bikes, best case scenario, they can see there's a nice bike. With a cover though, they're taking a risk if they stop and, you know, have a look. It could be a nice bike, but it might not be. So yeah, like with all the other things we're going to talk about today, why not give yourself that extra little layer that makes it a bit more difficult? If though there is an attempted theft on your bike, one thing that can draw attention to it, of course, is an alarm. That could be already fitted to the bike. You can fit them aftermarket as well. And while it won't physically stop your bike from being stolen, and to be honest, while many thieves aren't actually that put off by them, well, personally, if someone was trying to steal my bike, I'd prefer if it was blaring out. One thing that can physically help to prevent your bike being stolen though is a proper motorcycle lock. And I will say not all locks are created equal. In fact, Neil, founder at Lightlock, you've spent years investigating this. So how is it that most locks are defeated?
Well, most unarmoured locks can be cut in under 30 seconds using a cordless angle grinder, which are now very, very affordable. You can get them in supermarkets and so on. So we specifically set out to develop our own technology called Baronium, which is a fused composite armour that turns the power of the angle grinder back on the disc. And some journalists have said recently that our locks eat discs for breakfast, which I quite like.
I've witnessed that firsthand as well. We did the cutting test at your UK factory and I think we shredded 2 discs, depleted most of a battery before I gave up and I wasn't even nearly through an X3. And so clearly the products you've developed are going to be a real deterrent and also a physical barrier against theft.
Yeah, absolutely. And what really it's about is making it so difficult for the thief that actually they move on to somebody else's bike. It's awful to say, but that's the reality. And so you're protecting your own bike.
I think with the very nature of your business, you get to review a lot of footage of attempted thefts and things like that. So what are some of the techniques and methods of using a lot like this that people can adhere to that are going to also help?
We'd always say to people, if you can, try and keep the lock off the floor, because for tools other than angle grinders, the floor can become part of an attack. So whether it's with a sledgehammer or a bar or something, give your lock the best chance. We'd also say if you can, and it depends on your situation of where you're parking your bike, but try to lock your bike to something. If you cut the object, so like the railings behind us, then you've still got the lock that's on the bike, so you still haven't got a free bike, if you like. So it's all about making it as difficult as possible and making it take as long as possible.
One of the common ways of getting the bike away is to push it with another bike with a leg stuck out. But also, yeah, as you say, we want to guard against bikes being picked up and put into vans and such. But I think a lot of people probably assume you need to carry a big, heavy chain around to lock it to a lamppost or something like that, which isn't actually always the case.
No, so we specifically developed the Lightlock X1 Plus as the world's first long reach angle grinder resistant lock for that purpose. But also we do sell other locks which can actually be daisy chained together. So the Mini that you've got in your hands can be daisy chained and attached to something. So actually that's quite a lightweight alternative to a chain that's better than any chains that I know, certainly against an angle grinder and everything else.
So, of course, a ground anchor, if they're available, which they are in some London boroughs, for example, a railing, a lamppost can also really help. But also consider if you're out riding in a group or even a pair, then even locking your bikes together is of course going to make them much more awkward to pick up. In fact, I think it'd make it very difficult. So if you are out and about, you're on a tour, maybe for example, you don't know the exact parking situation when you show up, then that can be a really good way to add, as I say, another layer. Some of you might be thinking though, well, I don't need a separate lock because my bike's already got one built in, the steering lock. And I've got to break it to you that a steering lock isn't really an effective theft deterrent. You only need to watch 1 or 2 thefts on YouTube or whatever to realize that thieves have kind of figured these out pretty quickly. And so yeah, please do not use this as one of your main layers of defense. On the flip side though, they're not completely pointless. You could argue it's just another tricky thing to deal with. But most of all, I would urge you to always use it because I have read stories of a theft being captured on CCTV and people having a bit of difficulty with their insurance payouts because the insurers kind of argue, well, you didn't lock it properly. It's kind of laughable given how easy they are to break, but you may as well just use it every single time to add that extra little bit of fiddle and also keep yourself as covered as possible by your insurance. Now, Tim, I don't know if you've seen this one, mate, but myself and Neil were watching a video on Instagram of a bike being stolen a few months back, and the guy, look, I don't want to victim blame, but he left his helmet on the tank. And so when the CCTV caught the footage of it being stolen, the thief actually just popped the lid on their head as well and made off with the bike. This X-Wed from Next, for example, is, I think this one's over 500 quid, so you'd be absolutely mad not to lock it up. And the solution is pretty simple. We've got the X1 Plus here, and it's long enough, if you so wish, to lock your helmet to the bike. So that's one way to do it. Some bikes have a helmet lock sort of integrated into the seat as well. I'd say this is more secure and dual purpose, so it'd be my preference. But whatever you do, just don't leave your helmet up there. And also remember to take your comms off as well. On top of that as well, with your clothing, your luggage, all those sorts of things that you want to make sure are safe, I will say there's a bit of a trend as well for stealing some of the more valuable parts of the bike, like the TFT dash. To replace, they can cost, you know, $1,000 or something like that on some bikes. So even selling them secondhand, they fetch a pretty penny. And also, a lot of us have quad locks, items like this Chigi, which again are worth something to somebody. What I will say is the Chigi, for example, comes with security bolts as standard, so they don't take a regular Allen key, so that's a little bit of protection. I'd probably make sure those sorts of bolts are, you know, accountable for your dash as well. And also Quadlock have a security bolt pack kit, you know, so you can make sure it's as difficult as possible to get that off as well. Now, you can do all of these things and still be unfortunate and have your bike nicked, and so I do think it is worth fitting a tracker. It's not one of those measures that will make it more difficult to steal your bike, but certainly it's going to increase your chances of getting it back. My recommendation for this would be something like the TRACKTING, which we've featured on the channel a few times, where it's really discreet, so you can hide it deep in the bike. It's USB-C rechargeable, so it's kind of easy to maintain. Because it's running off that battery, it can't be traced back to the battery for removal, so certainly look at those. An AirTag It is a cheaper alternative for some people, but it doesn't work in the same way. I think a proper GPS tracker is what you should look for. So while there's no guarantee that you'll get your bike back, it certainly gives you a chance of following it and seeing if you can track it down.
Now, if you think there's any tips that I've missed, then I'd love it if you'd share them down in the comments below, and I'll certainly pin the best ones. But in the meantime, do hit subscribe if you want to see more of the latest motorcycle news and reviews right here on MOTOBOB. And a massive thanks for watching this one, and hopefully catch you in the next video.